the dragon demon himself. No, we're not talking about Nasu Dragon here, we're talking about Acnologia. Yes, and by the way, that is his full pronunciation of the name, because if you never saw his birth certificate, it was called Acno-fucking-logia. Because this thing is nuts. Like, he's going back to like, defiling corpses. He's going back to being just clearly just an asshole, which, you know, I'm not knocking the guy for being an asshole. He is a straight up 110% douchebag, but the fact of, like, what we learn about Acnologia in this chapter gives a little bit more of, like a context of, like, this might explain why he's a little bit fucking broken, although, if anything, as much as I love what the reveal of his element is, there's kind of a hole left in there, especially where, you know, a certain arm used to be, so there's going to be a lot of explaining to do in this chapter, and also as well, let's get into it immediately, which is slide 28. As always, I love, like, these little memory things that they've been going with, obviously showing off the first arc. I kind of love that they're showing, like, the lullaby stuff. Like, I actually think that was really cool that they were showing that. I was like, oh, that's a nice little, like reference to going back into. But, like, you just start off the chapter again with, like, just, like, looking like Wendy's now about to throw up, and just Urza seeing her mother just being stomped on. And I love that, like, Urza was like, yeah, stop desecrating that corpse and all that. And it's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? It's like, you're beating the shit out of, you shouldn't be walking, to be fair, so you should be on the fucking ground. What are you gonna do against him? Like, this is the last person you should really be trying to talk shit with. This, like, the guy is the fucking Dragon King. You don't want to try that. And when they were saying, like, you know, oh, when they finally realized, oh, who this person is, he just gives a big, shitty grin. And he's like, I'm gonna take this bitch out. I'm a fucking... let's see how you feel, Urza, when you get one-shotted. He's winding up that wrist. He's getting it ready. And he's like, I can taste the one-shot. I can taste it. It tastes like salt. And unfortunately, Jellal steps in. Like, it's immediately pulling out a magic barrier. Although, I will say, for fucking Jellal, he immediately went fucking balls to the walls, doing everything. He saw his woman in danger, and immediately doing the Palladius into the Kurai Shin, and then a Grand Chariot. Which, to be fair, if people don't know, really early on and all that, I actually do like Grand Chariot a lot. It's a pretty sick fucking move. It was one of my favorite things from like Tower of Heaven. Seeing that technique, like being judged by the 7 stars, and the fact that it does nothing. He kind of went into me there, like he did all these like high crazy techniques onto Acnologia, did not a single thing but like knock him back a little bit, and the fact that he laughs it off and he just eats the magic, and he's just like, what attribute is that? Like, what is going on? And it's just like, he's like fucking snickering. Attribute? I don't have that. And one of my favorite panels is him charging up, transforming into a dragon, stating, I am the final dragon. The dragon that devours all magic. The demon dragon, Acnologia. And I was just like, well, you are fucked. It's like, that where, like, his element is, I just take it all. So, what I think, if anything and all that, is let's talk about the fucking hole in the wall right now. And the fact is, where a lot of people have been talking about, okay, he can absorb and he can take any kind of magic. Why the fuck was Igneel able to go through him? Why was he able to get shot down? And I think that's like a lot of things, like from what they're going to be clearly going, is that he let his fucking guard down. I feel like the fact that he still needs to absorb, like the same thing with Nasu. Like Nasu can still be blindsided by fire. We've seen this clearly before and all that. Even when he was fighting like different kind of fire opponents, he can be blindsided. He can't just absorb it all. I feel like that's something, if you either let your guard down, if you're blindsided, I still think that's a way, like with the magic and all that, you can still do it, so you still need to technically absorb it, but that's fucking nuts, the fact that this is why, like, nothing, and it explains a lot more why everyone from Tenrojima just couldn't do anything to Acnologia. Like, it wasn't the fact that it was like, yeah, you guys are fucking weak, which they are, like, they were considerably weaker to what they were now, but even the fact when they mention, like, he is on another level compared to what they were on Tenro, the fact is showing that even if you dished out anything to this guy, he can just absorb it. Like, he can just absorb the magic and make it his own. And this is why, another thing as well, where I would have loved it to explain is, like, how exactly did he like, was it just, like, after, like, bathing in so much dragon blood, one of the things could be, like, oh, maybe he just bathed in so many fucking dragon bloods of different elements, the fact that it mixed in with his DNA, and the fact that he's he's elementless, like, he hasn't got one, because he's that fucking strong, because he can just take it all. So that was something where I would have like a little bit loved the explanation, and I don't think honestly that's something we really honestly get explained apart from I am the final dragon that just devours magic. Although it's still pretty badass, I will say when people were kind of complaining, what about that thing? I will actually concede to that and all that, because trust me, as much as I love it and I let my fandom blind me majority of the time. So I'll say, okay, I kind of, if anything, I feel like it's something that could be more addressed by just explaining in a line or two of dialogue instead of oh, this is a huge fucking plot hole. So I feel like, if anything, that's an actual explanation of it and all that. But then again, it could just be also an excuse as well. So I don't want to fully say on that. But the fact is, what happens afterwards, as Wendy tries, she's gonna try. She's like, I'm a dragon slayer. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go Super Saiyan 3, and I'm gonna try that. You was there on Tenro. What the fuck are you gonna do to him? And the fact that Acnologia just we're in the one shot, we're in the one shot, I'm gonna kill a dragon slayer, fucking bitch. He's there, and I'm like, Acnologia's loving it. He's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? And then, if anything, it's the whole thing is not addressed. It's just the only way to even stop him at this point is by actually ramming a ship into him. So that's something where Ichigo gets the Pegasus and just rams it into his literal ribcage, which even the fact that did nothing really. And the plan that they've got is taking him to a certain place where a very shocking reveal actually came out. The fact that if people know who exactly that is and all that, and saying who says yes, and you know exactly what that face kind of looks like, and I'm guessing the hair, and with that design that we made it seem, that's a Heartfillia. That is straight up and all that, and the clear key on thing on the text as well, the key that brought light. Why do you think they would mention the explicit word key? And what have we always heard when we think of keys, stars, or anything? We think of the Heartfillia family, we think of Lucy, and there are 3 Heartfillias that we know of. Lucy, Layla, and Anna Heartfillia. Now, we already know that this isn't Lucy, unlike we've already had one in the future. I don't think this is going to be one super far into the future. But the question is, though, as it's being titled Teacher, who exactly is this? If anything, I would say it's going to be a lot more of the emotional impact. If it actually is Layla, it would explain a little bit more. Although it explains what happened, didn't she supposedly die. It would be interesting if maybe the fact that Layla did die, and maybe Anna, you somehow actually used it, put a soul inside the body, took over. But I would say more clearly this is a Heartfillia here, and the question is whether or not is it Layla or Anna. So anything, I want to put my chips on Layla. I think it's going to be Layla Heartfillia. That would be a little bit interesting. But then again, it could still satisfy oh, it's the originator, the original, or one of the Heartfillias and all that. So that was a really goddamn exciting chapter. If anything, the one thing in the chapter, honestly, that I didn't I had an issue with was just I wish there was more explanation on Acnologia, the element thing, where it's just I absorb all magic, and then it's well, why was he able to, get down? Even if Acnologia said, stated, I let my guard down once and all that, and I lost my arm, but I'm never gonna let that happen again, not to you, insignificant humans or something, that's something I would have loved. And then it also is why you can say, well, yeah, Ignil is a dragon as well, so he's fucking strong. But then again, I kind of if anything, that's the one biggest problem I had with it. But then as well, I think I enjoyed this chapter a lot more. The fact that, it was just focusing on Acnologia near the entirety of the chapter, and the fact that Jellal had to step in, to try and do something, and it was nothing. He did absolutely nothing apart from save Urza, and I know a lot of us wanted Urza to get. Nothing would have satisfied a lot of people if she literally got one-shotted. And trust me, I'm in that boat right now. Like Urza like does annoy me a lot of the times and all that with some of the fights that she does. She don't annoy me overall as a character. It's just like the way the hero writes her and all that always just makes it like really annoying when you see it on screen. So trust me, when I was like, we're in the one shot, like trust me, there's a part of me that's actually kind of wishing for that, and then there's a part that isn't. But other than all that, I do really enjoy this chapter. I think, surprisingly, a lot of us are going to be tricked thinking that this is going to be about Natsu next chapter, where we're going to see a transformation. I personally thought that, so I cannot wait for the next one, if anything. Definitely, 528 was a really enjoyable chapter for me, and I want to know, is that Anna, or is that Layla? That's the biggest question, but that's all for me. Thank you always for watching, and I'll see you guys, though, and your fairy tale fans, though, next time.